Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're doing something really simple. We're just going to color this cute little image. So the first thing I did was I stamped it with Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to use my Prismacolor and Pro markers and those type of markers on it. Your alcohol-based markers. You can use Bics and Sharpies as well, but you will want a colorless blender. I have one here. It's an old Prismacolor one. It's basically an alcohol stick that will help you blend your colors. And I'm going to show you a really good technique for blending if you don't have so many colors to work with. So here's one that I have not colored yet, and we're going to do a technique called priming an image. So what you want to do is either with your clear blender or the lightest color you plan to use, you want to color an area in completely with the alcohol. Now this is in these markers is basically ethanol or denatured alcohol. So if you don't have a clear marker, you can take a Q-tip and use denatured alcohol, and that will really help you. Now you want to make sure you don't go outside of the lines because it's just like watercolor. Your marker's going to go wherever it is wet. So then I'm going to go in with a fairly light color. This is just a really, really light yellowy tan color, and I'm just going to kind of add some of that towards the edges. I'm going to go in with my next color, which is this light, it's called Deco Orange by Prismacolor. It's like a light peach color. I'm just going to scribble that in there. And this is how you get that kind of fade to white look. And here I'm actually taking quite a jump. So this would be like what your Bics are. There was really dark. This is like this is a yellow orange, but it's very dark. So it really helps to have that cardstock primed when you want to make such a jump in your colors. To bring that down a little bit because I do want this kitty cat to be orange. But I love it the way that some artists blend it out to the lighter color. Now I'm kind of working backwards. I'm going to go over that bright, bright orange with my next color. And since my cardstock's primed, it's going to help it blend. Now dark, dark colors like this are very difficult to blend, so priming it really, really helps. And you kind of beat it into submission with these lighter colors. I'm working in little circular strokes, and I can go right over the inside of the ears. I'm going to put a little bit of pink in there in a bit. And then I'm going to go in with my next lighter color. I like these markers a lot. They're Trias by Letraset. I actually like them better than Copics. I like that you have 3 nibs. I'll show you what I mean. So here we have a nice brush tip nib. And then if I go to this side, I got Chisel right there, right? But check this out. Put that back on, take off the second cap here. It's a little hard to unsnap. But then I got a super duper fine tip. I can't even focus on that. See how tiny that is. So those are the Tria markers by Letraset. They're more expensive than your Pro markers, but you know, you can refill them. You can either use ink, or they do have little cartridges you can put in the middle. But look at that. So we get that nice blend right out to white, which is the white of the paper, which we, you know, primed first with this clear marker. And if I feel like I need to push the color around a little bit more, I can do that with the clear. So that's how you get that really nice white in the center. Now the other way that you can blend, actually I'm going to prime the rest of this. I'm working on Nina Solar White Super Smooth Classic Crest. That's a long number. It's like it's like the guy from Princess Bride. I don't even know his whole name. I can't quote it. I quote it, I'll get comments from people because I'll quote it wrong. I am famous for quoting things wrong, so I'm not going to do that today. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in my darker color. I have primed my cardstock. I just like working darker to lighter. That's just my personal preference. But I wanted to show you the other way just because I really think that's really cute when you see, you know, that blended to white look. I went outside of the line, so I'm going to show you how to fix that. In a minute, look, I did it again. Oops, I did it again. Oh boy. Oh, I forgot to have a little dark there. Forgot to add that in there. Yeah, let me add a little bit of the dark around the edges there because I forgot to. So as you can see, I'm using several different brands of markers. They're all alcohol based. They all play well together. Don't feel like you have to commit to one brand of marker. You don't. You can play the field, so to speak, with all your different marker choices. And then if you find one you really love, then you can go ahead and invest more, but don't throw away your other ones because they will all work together. Alright, so you get some nice blending there, and you can keep working over if you feel like it's just not soft enough, just kind of go over it again. And if you feel like you want something lighter, go over it with your clear blender. So I wanted that cat to be orange, and there I've got an orange cat. Alright, so if you do get a mistake like I did right there, how it went outside. No, that orange is pretty staining, but I will show you what to do. I'm just going to turn it so I'm kind of attacking it from this side. And what you can do is use your colorless blender to kind of push that pigment back where it belongs. Oh, look, it is taking up all that orange. I thought that that orange might stain it a little bit too much, but it is pushing that orange back where it belongs. So see that? My in frame. See, I pushed that. I had a big orange streak out there and I just pushed it back into where it belonged on the kitty cat. All right, so now I think I'm going to work on this bowl, which I'm going to do blue. And I've got this very vivid parrot green. And I'm going to go in and put in my shadows. I wanted to blend out to like this aqua color, so that's why I'm using the parrot green, even though I said blue. That aqua kind of, if you really deepen it, you do kind of get this kind of color. And I'm going in with my dark. I'm not priming it this time, just to show you a different technique. And this is a technique I usually use. But I wanted to show you the priming technique in case you wanted to get that really sweet blended out to white look that I've seen a lot. See it a lot actually in the British card making magazines. That's where these stamps came from, by the way. They were from Card Making and Papercraft magazine, and I was waiting in line at Joann's. It was probably 2 years ago, and I was just waiting to pay, and I saw those stamps in that magazine, and the magazine was like $10. And which is way more than I pay for a magazine, but I was just like, that is so adorable. I couldn't resist. I'm like, that stamp set is worth $10 regardless of what's in the magazine. I'm using the clear blender here just to give myself a highlight. And see, you can really push that pigment around, and that's what the clear blender does. It just pushes that pigment around so you can make a really nice highlight. All right, so I know that some people are very apprehensive. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to blend, so they end up not even using their markers. Just play with it and try it out, and you know, you'll end up with gaining experience, and you know, you'll learn. Don't worry about wasting the ink. There's a lot of ink in these markers. This is a Copic. But I really think that if you started with a set of 36 Bic markets or Sharpies and you got a clear blender, whatever brand, doesn't matter, just not Chart Pack, because Chart Pack is an alcohol. Chart Pack is xylene. It's great for other things, but if you're going to use your Bics, just get a clear blender and experiment with it. You will really you'll be able to do a lot. All right, for this table, I'm going to use a couple shades of brown. I'm using a Prismacolor light umber, and I'm using a Pro Marker tan. Doesn't matter what brand you have. Just use what you have. And I'm going to go in first with my darks for this. So, you know, you might like the priming method a little bit more if you are, if you want to take your time coloring a little bit more. I like just kind of going with my dark. Sorry I'm talking so fast. I don't know why I'm talking so fast. I'm sorry. So I like to go with my dark and then kind of go into the lighter colors on top of it, and it just kind of blend it out. It helps that I'm using Neenah cardstock because it does blend a lot easier with that. But if you're using a cheaper cardstock like Georgia Pacific or Staples, you probably will want to prime your cardstock. And by priming, that's just what I did that first time where I colored it with the blender, the clear blender, and then I went into color. It just helped it blend. It was like wetting the paper before you watercolor. Same idea there. And I did go over that little bit of cake batter, but that's all right, because I can erase it if I need to. Not a big deal. That is white, isn't it? That's clear. Yeah, I think so. I'm just kind of blending it. I'm going to try to erase it from that little area. See the blending pen is actually a really awesome eraser. So I just erased that little brown that I had on the cake batter. I'm hoping that will focus in. See that? Right there where the cake is dripping underneath the bowl. I just erased it. So that's another thing. A blender pen is like a magic eraser for your markers. All right, so for the mouse, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the blender thing. I'll show you that again. I'm going to show you priming the paper. So with my little mouse, I'm going to prime the paper with my clear. All right, I'm not going to go all the way up to the edge because it might bleed on the outside. Now I've got a very, very light gray. It's a 10% gray, which is almost white. So it's not going to be hard to get that to blend. In fact, I could prime it with that. I could have primed it with it because it's so blendy and it's so close to the white of the paper you can hardly tell. I go in with this 50% gray, and we'll get a much darker look here. But look how good it's just kind of blending on its own. It's just like using watercolors. And it'll just kind of do its thing. And if I want it more blended, then I can go in with that light gray and just go over it again. So there's so many different ways to get the effects that you want, You just got to find a technique that works for you, that's comfortable for the way you like to create. I'm gonna do the batter pink, so I think I'll use a couple different shades. I'll go ahead and color it with the lightest, which is blush pink. Oh, maybe that's not the lightest. That looks actually pretty dark. Oh well. And there's the furnace right on cue. Well, let's see how this is baby pink. Let's see how light that is. Just a little bit lighter. It's pretty close to the same. And I think we'll add some shadows with this darker pink. Oops, want the fine end. And any place where I went out of the lines I can erase. Now like here you can see I put too much ink on the bowl and it's bleeding out. So when that's completely dry, I want to wait for it to dry, I can go in with my clear marker and I can get that to push back in where it needs to go. I think I'll also make the spoon pink like I did in the other one. Make the little kitty nose pink. That's pretty dark. I'm going with a lighter pink for the ears. That's pretty, I like that. And I think I'll make the apron and the hat blue. Before I do that, I might as well make the recipe book pink. Now here, see, here I can just go into the light color and then add my darker shadows. However you approach it is fine. You'll find a technique that gives you the look that you want as long as you practice, because watching somebody color is great and all, but you'll learn the most by actually doing it. So let's just get that in. Now this tutorial is actually for a blog reader who left a comment. He said, you know, I love your painting tutorials. They're really great, but you gotta understand that we're not all artistic, and we just want to color something sometimes. So I said, oh, you know what? I gotta dance with the folks that brung me here and get myself a regular stamping tutorial done here. You know, for the hat, I think, because it is such a little small area, why don't I just do it with my lighter and then go in with the darker shadow and throw a little highlight in there with my light color. I just reorganized my markers today too. I took the pen rack down because it was only half full since I moved my colored pencils, and I put everything in tins so I can move it over here to my table when I want to. So we'll see if I really end up liking that setup or not. So I'll show you the priming technique again. I'll prime the little apron there with the clear. And notice I'm not doing the apron strings because that will just make my ink bleed. I don't want that. Now this is my middle color. I'll go in here and just do the little apron strings as carefully as I can because I think I've had too much coffee today and I'm kind of a little shaky. And I'm going to go over there because I do want a little color in the middle. And go in with my dark parrot green here. Look how dark that looks there. Looks really dark. And then I'll go back in with my lighter color to blend it. Sometimes I like to use a chisel edge just because I can push the pigment around a little bit more. And then I'm going to go in with my clear just to lighten up some areas. Yeah. Give it that burst of highlight that's such a popular look right now. Alright, so for the shadows underneath, I'm going to start in with my lighter gray because it's a little less scary to do that. And I'm just going to throw some on the ground. You can hardly, I don't know if you can see it. Actually, use that gray to push that pink back where it goes. There we go. Oh, so the lighter gray actually is a fine eraser too. Oh yeah, shadow. That's what I meant to put there. Sure. Throw a little bit, maybe with the broad end. I gotta turn it around. I gotta attack this from the right angle here. A little bit of that shadow in there. Alright, then with the darker gray. This is weird doing this part upside down because for some reason I like to, if I'm coloring up against something like this, I like to be underneath it while I'm coloring up against it, but this will be fine. Hopefully my hand's not in the way. Trying not to let it get in the way for you. And then I can blend that out with my clear. The clear marker. It's amazing. It's a blender. It's a eraser. It's a fabulous tool for your coloring needs. And really that's about it. Maybe I'll add a little bit of blush into the mouse's ears too, because I like to liven things up with a little bit of pink. Ooh, that's quite dark, isn't it? Oh boy, yes, the bus will be here in like 3 minutes, can you tell? Hopefully I'm not rushing you too much. Alright, so there you go. There is our cute little kitten making a batch of cupcakes by the looks of things. And I just wanted to give you a quick and easy coloring tutorial. If you want to see this used on a tag or a card or something fantastic, check out my blog in a couple of days. The link will be below. And you can always subscribe to the blog. You'll get a little email every day of whatever I've posted. And I'll have this on a card or a tag or something. I have a bunch of these other ones that I've stamped too that I'll want to show off. I'll show you these actually. I want to zoom out just so you can see the other stamps in this set. I don't know if you can buy these sets that have been in the magazines, but I got this little kitty stirring a bowl of batter. It's so cute. Little kitty and a mouse with some cookies, and this little kitty with a birthday cake, and this little puppy, which I think would be cute on a little boy card with a cupcake tree. Love cupcake trees. And another one of those. So I did stamp out a bunch of these and die cut them all at once so I could have some fun coloring. So there you have it. Please thumbs up and subscribe if you like this video. And until next time, happy crafting.